Welcome to Moonlight Story, a quiet place where we listen, relax, and slowly drift into sleep. Take a moment now to get comfortable wherever you are. Allow your body to settle into the place where you're resting. Maybe you're lying down in bed or resting somewhere soft and quiet. There is nothing you need to do right now. No tasks waiting for you, no decisions to make. Just a few quiet minutes to rest. Take a slow breath in through your nose and gently breathe out. Allow that breath to soften your shoulders just a little. Take another slow breath in and slowly breathe out again. As you breathe, notice how your body begins to settle naturally. Your shoulders relax. Your jaw softens. Your arms and hands rest easily beside you. If your mind still feels busy, that's perfectly okay. Thoughts often take a little time to slow down. Instead of trying to push them away, simply let them drift past like clouds moving slowly across the sky. Bring your attention back to your breathing. A slow breath in and a gentle breath out. With every breath, your body becomes a little heavier, a little more relaxed. Your forehead smooths. Your eyes rest comfortably closed. Your breathing becomes slower and softer. There's nowhere you need to go. Nothing you need to solve right now. Just this quiet moment of rest. And when your body begins to feel calm and settled, we can begin to imagine something peaceful together. Now, get comfortable and allow yourself to settle in. Take one slow breath in and gently let it go. Again, a calm breath in and an easy breath out. Imagine that it is early evening during the holiday season. The day has become cooler, and outside the windows, the sky is already darkening. Soft lights from nearby homes glow in the distance, and the streets feel calm and quiet. Inside, everything feels warm. You are standing in a cozy kitchen where gentle golden lights shine from above. A bowl rests on the counter. Wooden spoons, trays, and small jars are neatly arranged nearby. There is a soft sweetness in the air. The smell of cocoa, the smell of vanilla, the comforting warmth of chocolate beginning to melt. A kettle hums quietly in the background. Somewhere in another room, low music plays softly. You step closer to the kitchen counter. The surface is cool beneath your fingertips. Beside you are neat little paper boxes, ribbons, and a tray waiting to be filled. Tonight, homemade truffles are being made for the holidays. Simple gifts, sweet treats, small things made with care. Emma stands at the counter with her sleeves rolled gently to her elbows. She smiles as she stirs a bowl of warm chocolate, slow and steady, already beginning the first step. You move beside her, ready to spend this peaceful evening in the kitchen. The lights glow softly. The room feels warm, and the holiday night begins gently around you. Emma placed the bowl of chopped chocolate in front of her and checked that everything she needed was close by. A small saucepan sat on the stove. Cream measured in a cup. A spoon of butter on a plate. Vanilla ready beside it. She liked doing things slowly, with everything prepared first. It made the whole evening feel easier. She poured the cream into the saucepan and turned the heat on low. The kitchen stayed quiet as she waited. Now and then she stirred gently, watching small wisps of steam begin to rise. When the cream was warm, she switched off the heat and carried the pan to the counter. Then she poured it over the bowl of chocolate. For a moment, she left it untouched. The warm cream slowly settled over the chocolate pieces, helping them soften. Emma rested her hands on the counter and waited. No rush. This part always worked better with patience. After a minute, she picked up a spatula and began to stir from the center of the bowl. At first, the mixture looked uneven. Soft, melted edges, small chocolate pieces still holding their shape. She kept stirring in slow circles. Little by little, the chocolate melted completely. The mixture turned darker, smoother, and glossy. She added the butter next, letting it disappear into the warmth. Then a small splash of vanilla. The sweet smell rose gently at once. Emma smiled and scraped the sides of the bowl so nothing would be wasted. The chocolate mixture was thick now and smooth enough to coat the spoon. She lifted a little, letting it fall back into the bowl in a slow ribbon. Perfect. She placed a cover over the bowl and carried it to the refrigerator. It would need time to firm up before rolling. While it chilled, the evening still had room for other small things. Emma wiped the counter clean, washed the spoon, and set a tray nearby for later. The hardest part was done. Soon, the truffles would begin to take shape. After the kitchen was cleaned, Emma made herself a warm drink and sat near the table for a while. The bowl of chocolate rested in the refrigerator, slowly cooling and firming up. There was nothing to do but wait, and she never minded that part. She wrapped both hands around the mug and looked around the kitchen. Soft lights glowed above the shelves. Clean bowls were drying by the sink. The empty tray waited on the counter. Everything was ready for the next step. After some time, Emma stood and opened the refrigerator door. She touched the side of the bowl lightly. Cool now. She lifted the cover and pressed the top of the chocolate mixture gently with the back of a spoon. It held its shape. That was exactly what she wanted. She carried the bowl back to the counter and placed it beside the tray. Then she brought out a small scoop, a plate lined with baking paper, and 3 shallow bowls. One bowl held cocoa powder. One held finely chopped nuts. One held coconut flakes. She liked giving each truffle a different finish. Emma dipped the scoop into the chocolate and lifted the first portion. It wasn't perfectly round, and that never mattered. She placed it onto the lined plate, then scooped another, and another. Soon, a row of small chocolate mounds began to fill the plate. Some were larger, some smaller, all of them homemade in the best kind of way. She worked slowly, scraping the scoop clean each time and spacing them neatly apart. The chocolate softened a little in the warm kitchen, so once the plate was full, she returned it to the refrigerator for a short rest. Only a few minutes. Just enough to make rolling easier. Emma washed her hands, tied her hair back again, and smiled at the plate waiting inside. The next part was always her favorite. Soon the simple little scoops would become proper holiday truffles. After a short wait, Emma took the plate back out of the refrigerator. The small scoops were firmer now and much easier to handle. She placed the plate on the counter and dusted a little cocoa powder onto her palms so the chocolate would not stick too much. Then she picked up the first piece. It was cool and soft at the same time. She rolled it gently between her hands in small circles. Within a few seconds, the rough scoop became smooth and round. She dropped it into the bowl of cocoa powder and turned it lightly with a spoon until it was covered. Then she placed it on the tray. The first truffle was done. Emma reached for the next one. This time she rolled it smooth, then coated it in chopped nuts. The tiny pieces clung to the surface, giving it a different texture. The next went into coconut flakes, white and soft around the dark chocolate center. She continued one by one, changing the coating each time. Cocoa, nuts, coconut, then back again. The tray slowly began to fill with neat rows of finished truffles, some dark and dusted, some covered in pale coconut, some golden with chopped nuts. Now and then one softened too quickly in her warm hands, and she simply placed it back on the plate to chill for another minute. No rushing. That was part of making them by hand. Emma paused to lick a little chocolate from her fingertip and laughed quietly to herself. Then she kept going. The kitchen smelled rich and sweet now, with cocoa in the air and the comfort of warm chocolate all around. By the time the plate was empty, most of the tray was full. Only a few pieces remained to finish. Emma looked at the rows of truffles and smiled. They were simple, homemade, and already looking ready for the holidays. Emma finished the last few pieces slowly, giving each one its own coating before placing it onto the tray. When the final truffle was done, she stepped back for a moment and looked at them all together. Rows of cocoa-dusted ones, a line of coconut-covered ones, a few with chopped nuts, each one slightly different, but all made with care. She slid the tray into the refrigerator so they could firm up again while she prepared the boxes. From the cupboard, she brought down a stack of small paper boxes she had saved for the holiday season. Some were plain cream color. Some had tiny gold stars printed on the lids. She lined each one with soft paper and set them open across the table. Then she cut lengths of ribbon and placed them beside each box. When the truffles were chilled, she brought the tray back out. They were cooler now, holding their shape perfectly. Emma picked them up one at a time and placed them gently into the boxes. 3 in one box, 6 in another, a larger box for neighbors next door, a smaller one for a friend who loved chocolate most. She mixed the coating so each box had a little variety. Dark cocoa, pale coconut, crunchy nuts. Once the boxes were filled, she closed each lid carefully and tied ribbon around them. Nothing fancy, just neat and thoughtful. She wrote small name tags and tucked them under the ribbon. Then she arranged the finished boxes in a row along the counter. The kitchen looked lovely now. Not because it was perfect, but because it held the quiet signs of an evening spent making something for others. Emma brushed a little cocoa powder from the counter, washed the last spoon, and looked once more at the boxes waiting there. Only one thing left now: to put them by the door, ready for tomorrow. Emma carried the finished boxes one by one to the small table near the front door. She placed the larger box in the center and the smaller ones around it, ready to take along the next day. Each ribbon sat neatly tied. Each name tag waited in place. She adjusted one bow, straightened another box, then stepped back with a quiet smile. Everything was ready. Back in the kitchen, she filled the kettle once more and made herself a warm drink. While it steeped, she returned the extra cocoa powder to its jar, folded the ribbons that were left, and stacked the empty boxes back into the cupboard. The bowls were washed. The counter was clean again. Only the soft scent of chocolate still remained in the room. Emma took her mug and sat by the window for a moment. Outside, the street was calm. A few distant lights glowed from nearby homes, and now and then someone passed by carrying bags or walking home through the cool evening. The holiday season always made ordinary nights feel a little gentler. She sipped her drink slowly and thought about tomorrow. A short visit to her neighbor, dropping off a box for her friend, sharing the rest later in the week. Simple plans, good plans. After finishing her drink, Emma returned to the kitchen and opened the refrigerator. One truffle had been left behind on the tray. She picked it up, dusted a little extra cocoa from her fingers, and tasted it. Rich, smooth, and just right. She laughed softly, pleased with the result. Then she switched off the lights, leaving only the warm lamp above the stove glowing for a moment longer. The boxes waited quietly by the door. The kitchen was calm again, and the peaceful holiday evening slowly came to an end.